When discussing the internet, how many times have you heard the words, the dark web? It's become something of an urban legend, a hub for illegal activities, a place where people go when they have something to hide. But amidst all the rumors, there is some truth to the terrifying stories you've heard about. The internet can be viewed as layers, the first and outermost layer being referred to as the surface web. The layer below that is referred to as the deep web, and just below that is what we know to be the dark web. This is the part of the internet that requires special software to access. It's intentionally hidden and encrypted, which allows users to access sites with complete anonymity. Most people accessing this layer of the internet do so for privacy and the freedom that comes with it. However, despite its reputation, there is some truth to the idea that it is a dangerous place. In a small German town, a man named Armin Moos is seemingly living a rather uneventful life. He helps his neighbors, mowing their lawn from time to time and doing favors for other residents. But somewhere beneath the surface lies something much darker. None of Armin's acquaintances would have ever guessed that he was looking for someone to take part in a cannibalistic ritual. The 42-year-old computer expert is sometimes cited as a user of one of the most infamous websites on the dark web. And while it's difficult to verify this, many believe that Armin used it as a means of meeting Bernd Brandes, a man Armin would later chop up and devour. What we do know about Armin and Bernd for sure is that they met after Armin posted an advertisement to the dark web, basically expressing that he was looking for someone to be his victim. The ad said, "Searching for a young, well-built man who wants to be eaten." As Armin would later tell reporters, "I always had the fantasy, and in the end, I fulfilled it." In March of 2001, the two men finally met up at Armin's home. From here, Bernd swallowed at least 20 sleeping pills and half a bottle of schnapps before Armin cut off Bernd's genitals. Armin then took the hunk of flesh to the kitchen where he fried it. He then brought back the dish to Bernd, and the two ate it together. Heavily bleeding and in a state of disorientation, Bernd would die the next morning. Over the course of the next few weeks, Armin would devour the remnants of Bernd. The event would go on to be one of the most polarizing cases in German history. The website in question that Armin was a part of is known as the Cannibal Cafe. The front page of the site is very rudimentary. The title of the website at the top with a warning underneath expressing that adult content is ahead. When progressing forward, you will be taken to a welcome page describing not only the purpose of the site, but also the following reoccurring hashtag. This hashtag serves as an access point for anyone using the Cannibal Cafe's Undernet servers. The Undernet refers to one of the oldest internet relay chat networks, which allowed people to talk to one another in real time. By using this hashtag, you would be able to meet with and engage with others who were interested in exchanging morbid fantasies. When visiting the guest book, you can meet a couple users, as well as read a comment they have left behind. User Vlad Tepish writes, "Hey, looks nice so far. Can't wait for the human livestock to be bred and cattle, right from the start." The further you dive into the Cannibal Cafe, the more references you will see regarding human cattle and livestock. If you navigate back to the welcome screen, there are a few headers that read Available Livestock and Livestock Application. The Livestock tab will take you to a number of different profiles created by people who are interested in sexual activity or being killed, or both. For example, one profile reads, "Cow Stephanie's training is almost complete. She will soon be auctioned off as a slave or butchered for her meat. Her termination options include, but are not limited to, total dehumanization, extreme torture, hanging, asphyxiation, vivisection, live butchering, impalement, and ritual slaughter. The LTP livestock counselors have recommended that she be given a starring role in a snuff video. Stephanie needs an owner. Another profile reads, Ashley has just been donated on an involuntary basis by her ex-boyfriend. Our new cow, Ashley, is a 21-year-old girl who is nominated for being meat. She has been trained in certain skills, and we recommend that she be used as a breeder. She would make a great start on a new line of human cattle. Lean, but tall enough to get a good amount of meat back. She is clear of any STDs. These are just two examples of a considerable amount of profiles that you can find on this site. The running gag is that the users are referred to as cow and then their first name. And like cows and cattle, they are given the opportunity to either extort their bodies for certain activities or be put to death or slaughter. For those feeling inspired by the profiles they have just seen, there's a section on the website where you can fill out your own application to become a cow. On top of basic details like your date of birth, height, and weight, the livestock application has a training section featuring a number of different skills that I cannot talk about in detail. The Cannibal Cafe is just one example of sort of an interesting phenomenon that happens on the dark web. You see, on the surface web, we have, websites and apps for things like dating, whether you're looking for a hookup or a long-term relationship. And you can kind of look at the Cannibal Cafe as sort of the dark and twisted version of these dating apps. And this isn't the only example of something that we know to be familiar being turned into something much more disturbing. In 2005, YouTube began its long journey of becoming the most popular video sharing platform in the world. The site would be universally praised for its ability to connect people around the world. But as it slowly took over the surface web, a change was happening in the deepest layers of the internet. DarkTube can be accessed using a Tor browser. As the name and front page suggests, DarkTube is the dark web version of YouTube. The content of the site is in Russian, so deciphering everything is going to be a bit tricky. Despite this, the site operates very similarly to YouTube. Users can see a pre-selected number of videos while visiting the homepage, and have the opportunity to use the search bar at the top of the site to look up whatever they want. In the upper right-hand corner, you can sign in or make an account, as well as upload your own content to the site. While watching a video, you get recommendations just like YouTube. And while it most likely wasn't DarkTube itself, there is a rumor going around that a particular viral video on YouTube actually originates from a video sharing site on the dark web very similar to DarkTube. The well-known Blank Room Soup video was said to have originally been posted to the dark web. It shows two people in costumes hovering over a man as he cries and eats soup. After the discovery of the video, a user posted the video to YouTube. Since then, it has gained the reputation of being one of the most mysterious and disturbing videos on the site. Theories regarding the video stem from the idea that the man is being forced to eat the chopped up remains of his family that have been cooked and put into the soup before him. Others say that the two people in costume are holding the man hostage and he will soon be made into soup himself. Following the upload of Blank Room Soup to the surface web, it wouldn't be long before a follow-up video was posted. The video shows one of the costumed people ushering along someone tied up and gagged. There would be a couple other entries recovered before it came out that the whole thing was not quite what it seemed. The costumes seen in the Blank Room Soup videos are referred to as Ray Rays, which are mascots by a film director named Raymond S. Percy. The story goes that two of the costumes were stolen from Raymond. Subsequently, the people used them when filming the Blank Room Soup videos. While some people believe this to be the full story, others are not convinced, citing that the man in the videos shares some resemblance to Raymond himself. Because of this, some people believe that the entire thing was a PR stunt to garner attention to Raymond and his film work. If the whole thing was a PR stunt and fabricated, it makes the whole idea that the video was actually, found on the dark web a lot less likely. If the story itself is fabricated, who's to say that where it was found or its origin is not fabricated as well? Regardless, DarkTube is real, and it's just one example of the many video sharing sites that can be found on the dark web. And now there's something else you should know, something that is also very familiar, the idea of commerce sites. And perhaps one of the newest editions of these on the dark web is known as the Abacus market. This site operates very similarly to something like eBay. Sellers are able to make a post containing not only the item they are selling, but also an extensive look at the seller's feedback from other buyers and how many items they have sold in their lifetime. Users searching for a specific product can use a number of different search tools to narrow down exactly what they are looking for, what country it's from, and what category it falls under. But what makes the Abacus market stand out from things like eBay is the fact that on the Abacus market you can find countless listings where people are selling drugs, counterfeit items, cybercrime tools, weapons, you name it. It's estimated that the website is home to nearly 14,000 listings, all amounting to roughly $15 million. And while it may be the biggest commerce platform on the dark web today, it's actually sort of the predecessor for something a lot more infamous and maybe even darker. In Canada, a young man named Alexander Kazes grew up as something of a tech whiz. Specifically, he specialized in web development and encryption services, launching his first company as a teenager. The company was known as EBX Technologies, which sold computers and helped small businesses set up their websites. But as it turned out, EBX was just a front. Behind the scenes, Alexander was using the site to justify his banking activity and cryptocurrency holdings. At 25 years old, Alexander moved to Thailand and launched a marketplace on the dark web known as Alphabay. This site would quickly become the largest hub to date for buying and selling drugs, weapons, and fake IDs. But throughout all of this, Alexander was aware that his empire could fall at any moment. Wanting to preserve some semblance of anonymity, he would often operate under the name The Snake. But all of this would change on July 5, 2017. During investigations regarding Alphabay, authorities found Alexander's email, which was pimpalex91@hotmail.com. From here, law enforcement was able to trace the address back to Alexander. Following this, he was arrested and later ended his life in prison. The disappearance of Alphabay sort of caused a vacuum on the dark web, sort of leaving a spot open for another platform to come in and fill the space in a way and start the process all over again. And as it turns out, merchandise isn't the only thing that you can sell on the dark web. For those interested in selling themselves, there's a website known as The Human Experiment. The site no longer exists, but the following is archival footage containing some pretty questionable material. The front page of the site contained a recent news tab. This update from July 14, 2011 reads, "A new batch of test subjects has arrived. Will be placed in Warehouse 3. The About section reads, "We are a group of medical personnel. There are 3 nurses, 6 medical students, 2 medical interns, and 3 medical residents on the team. Experiments are conducted in our spare time if we have any. Warehouses are left unguarded, and the test subjects are confined to their cells unless they are being used in an experiment. Food and water are provided as indicated. Nutritional status is usually irrelevant, as none of the test subjects survive long enough, except the pregnant women." On the next archival image, the header reads, "Not all humans are equal. For some of them were born superior to others." Beneath, we get a more in-depth look on what type of experiments the subjects are taking part in. These include a number of different ones, stemming from pain tolerance to the effects of diseases, drug trials, sterilization, and infant intolerances to X-rays. When the experiments are over, the bodies of the dead are dissected and disposed of in dumpsters and meat shops. The next page goes into more detail involving what exact experiment is going on in the first warehouse. I can't say much here, but it has to do with bleach and women who have just given birth. The next takes us to warehouse number 3, where the current experiment is a cold water tolerance test. Here, the subject is placed into increasingly cold waters in an effort to see how long the body can withstand it before death. As I mentioned before, this website no longer exists, and because of that, it's very difficult to verify whether or not the site was ever legit. Human experiments are some of the most talked about when it comes to pages on the dark web. People who voluntarily offer themselves and their bodies in an effort to get a little bit of cash. And as it turns out, the likelihood that something like this actually existing is rather slim. And maybe, or maybe not, the same can be said for the following. You've probably heard this term before. Red Room is a phrase synonymous with the dark web. These so-called red rooms are supposedly websites on the dark web where users can view live torture and murder, and also participate through the site's chat room. Verifying any concrete evidence of their existence is nearly impossible. Throughout the years, there have been some supposedly leaked footage of this phenomenon, including this one where a young woman is being watched as she is confined to a room. When navigating the dark web itself, you can often find sites like this one, where the homepage looks to be a countdown leading up to some disturbing event. This one reads, "Welcome Red Room enthusiasts. You have finally reached the darkest and greatest Red Room. Very soon we will bring our roomie into this Red Room, and even though she has at this time not the first idea yet of what is going to happen to her, she will be tortured and then she will die." But what is often the case is that once the timer finishes, the site will reload and the timer will reset. With all of these fakes and lack of concrete evidence, it would appear that the idea of red rooms is nothing more than a myth created by users who want to make something out of nothing. But in 2017, a video began circulating, calling into question just how fake these red rooms actually are. In the video, a girl has been duct taped to a chair. She is sitting in a dark room, and there appears to be some sort of timer sitting in her lap. Meanwhile, a chat on the left side of the screen continues to scroll, anxiously awaiting the outcome when the timer reaches 0. But all is not as it seems. Researchers have traced back this format of chat room to a 2015 livestream app known as Periscope. During the stream, a girl answered the following questions by shaking her head yes or no. The list of questions read, "Is this a game? No. Is there a bomb? Yes. Are you in Moscow? Yes. Did someone kidnap you? Yes. From the street? No. From your house? Yes. Are there any windows where you are? No." This is all the information that viewers were able to get before the stream cut away. As a result, viewers never got to see what happened when the timer hit 0, and at this point, it became very clear that the whole thing was likely staged. Following the incident, a company known as Black Elephant came out and took responsibility for the video, saying that it was a live-streamed social experiment to see what people would do in the situation. The actress seen in the stream even recorded a video as a response, letting everyone know that she was okay. So with so many hoaxes and fakes regarding red rooms, what is the likelihood that something like that actually exists? As it turns out, videos on the dark web tend to load slower than those on the surface web. As a result, if you were using a private browser on the dark web, you would have to download a program or software like Flash. And why would you want to do that if you are actively searching for and on websites that are dedicated to showing the torture and deaths of many people? And that's the most common theme across most cryptic websites on the dark web. Most of them are nothing more than sites created by people who want to exploit the dark and sinister reputation the dark web has received. For example, those interested in the occult have the opportunity to join the Brotherhood of Satan as seen through this welcome page on their website. Abbreviated BOS, the Brotherhood of Satan is a satanic organization that is not directly affiliated with the Church of Satan. The BOS performs satanic rituals using occult and satanic symbols and holding satanic masses. By joining the BOS, members will be taught magic and many occult arts and sciences, including those termed black and dark arts and the old ways of the generational craft of the wise. If you scroll down more on the welcome page, you will be greeted with a warning sign stating that this is a private website and contains material which may be considered offensive by some. And by continuing on, you are certifying that you are at least 18 years of age. Beneath that it reads, "If you do not wish to learn the truth and free your mind of Christian dogma, leave now." By clicking on the highlighted link, which certifies your age, you are taken to a very rudimentary page where you have the opportunity to fill out an application form to join the BOS. Below the application is a brief history of the BOS as well as their mission statement. If you didn't pick it up already, they like Satan a lot. But there's a catch. At the very bottom of the page, you will find a registration form which will require you to pay a non-refundable deposit of $196.66 in order to become an active member. Above the form is a mail address which takes us to 324 Main Street in Laurel, Maryland. I was curious about the address, so I looked it up on Google Maps and found that it does in fact lead you to a United States post office in Maryland. The P.O. Box number is 1211, so whether or not it actually belongs to the Brotherhood of Satan or just some person who put a random P.O. Box number is still up for debate. So these are all of the websites that I have for you guys today. If you've made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing and checking out the Patreon if you are interested in early, ad-free, and uncensored content, all for $5 a month. The link will be in the description. We are on the track to 100,000 subscribers, and I am so grateful and proud of this community that we have built together. I'm very excited to see where it goes, and as always, guys, thank you so much. Make sure you're staying safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.